everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody. I'm here with my weekend challenge layout. Now, this past weekend on my Facebook group, if you're not a member, by the way, go down in the description box below and add yourself. But on my Facebook group, I posed to the members if they would be interested in doing a challenge for the weekend. And a lot of people said yes, they were interested. So I threw out a couple different things, and the response back was yes, and add washi. So the prompts for this challenge were to create a layout, and in my mind it was a 12 by 12 layout or something along those lines, but you could do whatever you want. It's just the whole purpose of the challenge is for inspiration. So to do a layout using washi, ribbon, buttons, and project life cards. So I had this photo of my sisters and my mom and I for my younger sister's baby shower. She had her first baby August of 2015. Yes, 2015. And we threw her a baby shower. So I've got her baby shower invitation off there to the right, which I had made those for her baby shower. And I'm going to put that kind of in a little pocket, which will be right beside this photo, or right beside this layout. So I kind of have it there just as inspiration to see if there's anything that I'm looking for in particular. Now, I'm actually starting with my project life cards first before I even pull out my papers, because I was trying to decide which cards I was going to include. And I'm going to end up settling on 2 actual project life cards. So I end up using 2 3x4 cards on this layout. One is going to be a mat for the other card, and the other card is going to have the journaling on top of it. Then I had this little celebrate piece of paper that I had stamped out a long time ago. It was just sitting in the little bin that I keep on my desk with just extra little bits and pieces. And so I pulled that out as well to use it because it kind of had those teals that I was looking for. But I just wasn't sure, so I just kind of have it sitting off to the bottom. So as you can see, this layout's coming together pretty quickly without a whole lot of effort. But I'm pulling out my stash kit number 2 for 2017 to use here. And I'm just kind of pulling a couple papers together, but you'll see this layout comes together fairly quickly. It doesn't actually take me too long to kind of decide what I want to do. Pulling out a couple different options here. The kit is still fairly large. If you've been kind of following along with my stash kit layouts, you'll see that I've actually already created quite a many layouts. Excuse me. I've created quite a few layouts with this kit already, and I still have a ton of stuff left, as you can see. So I'm really kind of liking having a kit at the ready to use whenever I want to do something like this for a weekend challenge, or when I just want a scrapbook. I don't have to go through my entire stash. I have a kit already ready for me to use. Now, I apologize for the coughing, but I've got like this crazy itchy scratchy throat that just will not go away, and it seems to be okay until I start talking a lot. And in these process videos, obviously I'm talking a lot, so hopefully we'll get through this and it's not so terrible. I apologize if I do start coughing, though. I'll try to stop the video so you don't have to listen to it, but I do apologize up front for that. Now, I had this kind of distressed looking navy paper. I just wanted a darker border around my photo just to add a little bit of contrast to the photo, I guess, to offset it. Now, I've got this beautiful pink kind of painted stripe background. I absolutely love it. That is actually from Ellie's Studio. I thought about mounting this on a piece of white cardstock right here in the middle, which totally would have worked. And as soon as I moved my little piece of paper here, I want to say that's from Dear Lizzie, but I'm not 100% sure. But as soon as I move that up to the top of that white paper, I go, oh, I can create a banner out of this, and then kind of make my photo mount on that banner. So that's exactly where I go with this. Now, I am going to add in some machine stitching here. I pulled out just some scrap ribbons that were in my I keep a mason jar full of scrap ribbons on my shelf. It's mostly decorative, but I also keep it as a place for my scraps just in case, because I do like to use up my scraps whenever possible. So I just like the way that the ribbon looks in that mason jar, but whenever possible, when I need just a small little bit of ribbon, I pull it out just to see if there's anything in there that would work. Now, I'm going to kind of mount my banner here. I put a little bit of washi at the top, and then I'm also going to trim this ribbon to go right on top of that washi. And it's not all the way up to the top because I want you to be able to see the pink border all the way around. And I'm just kind of adhering the ends of the ribbon here, and then it kind of frayed a little bit, so I went ahead and glued down the edge. And now I took it to my sewing machine and I stitched right over the center of that ribbon. And I just always pull the ends of the thread to the back of my layout and then just use a little bit of washi to tack it down. I don't back stitch on my layouts. You can definitely do that. I've done it before, but I don't back stitch on my layouts. I just pull the threads to the back and then adhere it with some washi tape, or secure it with some washi tape rather. So just kind of going along, I had to trim again the end of that ribbon at the top because it started to fray. But I'm going to go ahead and start working with my Project Life cards here. The very first thing when I was doing this layout, I wanted to get all 4 elements on my page before I really started to go through and embellish more. I wanted to make sure that I included all the things that were in the challenge, because it would totally be me to get all the way to the end of the layout and go, oh wait, I was supposed to use this, this, and this, and this, and I didn't use any of it. So I made a very big effort to make sure that that was included from the get-go here. Now, just like the one at the top is kind of mounted off the edge, I'm going to mount this bottom one off the edge as well. And this is where my journaling is going to go. Now, in hindsight, I realize I did not leave a border for the pink right here at the bottom. I wish I had, because it would have been a little bit more consistent across, but it's okay. It's no big deal. Only I would notice that probably. So I just used a little bit of that same paper, a little bit of that same ribbon scrap, and then I will use a little bit of washi tape as well. And I'm going to stitch right over that ribbon just like I did at the top. Now I'm not going to have washi tape go across the entire pattern paper. It's just going to go off the edge here at the top of that little scrap of paper, and off the edge. All right, just gluing that ribbon down. I like to kind of tack down the ends. Now I've heard a lot of different things about tacking down or gluing on your layout and then stitching. I really don't have a problem with it gumming up my needle on my sewing machine. I sew sometimes a lot, sometimes not so much, and I've had my machine for years, and I've stitched on layouts plenty of times, and I've never really had an issue with adhesive gumming up my machine at all. If you do start to see a problem though, I would definitely suggest clean it immediately. And I do try to clean my machine out periodically, so I try to keep the maintenance up on it to where it's not like it just sits there with adhesive sitting on the needle or anything like that. Now, I've broken needles before, so maybe I switch out my needle enough to not really have a problem. So I would just suggest that if you are going to sew on your layouts, which I do suggest you do because I think it looks beautiful, if you're going to sew on your layouts, just be aware of the fact that the adhesive may get on your needle and get in your machine. So just be aware of that. I'm adding a couple buttons here. I'm keeping this one off to the side because I feel like I want to add another one, but I need another of that teal. And I have a ton of different buttons, as you could see. This is probably not even half of them. It's probably not even half of the buttons in my stash, but I keep them in this old Bath and Body Works jar from a candle. It was like a, one of their large candles, their 3-wick candles. I had saw a Pinterest tutorial on how to get the sticker off and all the adhesive off. It took some work, but I really like the way that those buttons look in that jar where that candle came in. So if you have any Bath and Body Works 3-wick candles and you like the jars and would like some cute little decorative ways to store things, then figure out how to get the adhesive off. Just be patient with it. That's my suggestion. Just be patient with it. Alright, so here I'm adding my journaling onto these Project Life cards, and what it says is, first it says at the top, it has right now with an arrow pointing towards the center of the layout. And it says, Jill's baby shower brunch was a big hit. An ice cream sundae bar with Jill's famous pound cake recipe as treats to take home. Now we can't wait until the little one arrives. And Jill, my younger sister Jill, she's kind of famous for this pound cake recipe. It's not her recipe, but it was from, like when you were in elementary school, or at least when I was in elementary school, our PTA, the Parent Teacher Association, is that what it is? Yeah. Sold these recipe books. Sold these recipe books, and it was a compilation of people submitting recipes that were their favorites and things like that. And there were a lot of duplicates and just a lot of really random recipes in there, but you could buy the recipe book, and it was to support the school. Well, there's a recipe in there that my sister found. I mean, this book is from, late 80s, early, it was probably late 80s actually, because I was born in 1984, so I would have been in elementary school around 88, 89. I would have been 5 or 6. So yeah, so probably late 80s, maybe 1990, something like that. And so these recipes are quite not old, but a little bit different than some of the things that you may come through now. And then some of the recipes, of course, are family ones that were kind of passed down. Sorry, I'm not exactly sure what I was doing, but I'm just going to keep chatting as you watch me adhere these buttons. So one of the recipes in there was this pound cake, and it's made, of course, with like a ton of butter and a ton of sugar and a ton of different flavorings, but it's delicious. It's so delicious. And my younger sister, for whatever reason, came across it one day when she was making a pound cake to take somewhere, and now she makes it and takes it everywhere. Like that's her signature thing that she takes to parties or takes to potluck dinners or takes to family gatherings. And so it's kind of like she's famous for this pound cake because that's what she always brings, and everybody loves it. It's so delicious. It has almond flavoring in it and vanilla flavoring, and it's just so good. It's kind of moist, but it's just delicious. So anyways, as part of our ice cream sundae bar at our brunch, we had her pound cake, and which I'm pretty sure we made her make, actually. It was just kind of bad, but I'm pretty sure we had her make that and bring that to her own baby shower. But the little treats to take home, we had made like a couple little, I think we had done like chocolate dipped pretzels and things, but we had written out her pound cake recipe on recipe cards that said like from the kitchen of Jill, and put the recipe on there so everyone could have it, because it's not like it's a secret or anything. It's just one that she makes a lot. And so we gave out that recipe to anybody who came to the baby shower, and it was really a big hit because everybody who knows her knows that she's like famous for this this pound cake. So it was really kind of a cute thing. And I do have that recipe in my recipe book. I thought about including it, and maybe I will. I'll just need to make a copy of it for me to keep in my recipe book. But I thought about including it on the back side of her invitation because it would really kind of be fitting to have that in my album. And then, I will probably always have that recipe card, but because I'm the one who made the recipe cards and all that. So I probably would always have that recipe card. But it would be kind of interesting to include it in my scrapbook as well. So maybe I'll do that. I haven't really thought about that yet. Now that I've got all the main elements of the layout down and everything that's included from the challenge, then I am going through all the embellishments that are in my kit. And then I come across this stamp set, and it has a couple of different things stamped. Like it said, good times. And the one I just stamped right under the right now says, this was so fun. And then I'm going to stamp one right on top of the celebrate that says awesome. It's just really tiny little word stamps, but I really like them. And then I'm going to stamp one at the top that says the little things. And then on the little white ticket that I'm including over the gray tag that's under the photo is going to say good times. But I'm going to stamp it, and then I'm going to smear it, and so I'm going to have to stamp it again. Those tickets are kind of glossy, so you just have to be careful when you stamp on them. I have Stays On, but it's in a dark brown, and I don't want dark brown on here, so I wasn't going to include Stays On. It just took the regular paper tray ink a minute to dry. It didn't take real long, actually. It was actually a lot quicker than I expected it to be, but I kind of messed up this first one. I end up smearing it, and I'm not sure where I smear it, but along the way, I think I smear it right there when I'm gluing it down, and then I run my finger across it later to see if it's dry, because it was smeared just enough that I could deal with it. But then whenever I ran it across it to see if it was dry, and there I'm kind of like tapping it down to see if it's something that I can fix. And then no, it was just too bad. So I just pulled out another one of the little tickets. Luckily, I have a lot of them, and they have sayings on one side, but I'm also kind of using the white side as well. I don't need like that mustard yellow color on this layout. But I like this little pink clip, and it's from K & Company Smash, I believe. But it says, oh my God, and I don't really like that. So there's this white one that says charming that I'm thinking about putting there. I don't like the way that it bends my photo. I don't like the way that it bends the paper when I attach it to it. So every time that I've used these clips in this entire kit, I don't think I've actually attached them. I think I've just adhered them straight down to the page. And as I'm looking at this, Celebrate was going to originally be my title, but I feel like maybe I should put something else. So Celebrate is still my title, but I'm going to add a little bit of a caption for my photo. And I thought about using some of these Amy Tangerine thickers. They're kind of a rubber gray, which I really like. I just don't have enough of them left to really do anything with, so I'm kind of using them as I can. I thought about making a couple little stars or asterisks to go across the page, but I only had one that was truly an asterisk, and so I'd have to make the other ones, and I was trying to cut apart like a Q. But it was curved, obviously, because it's a Q, and it just didn't work right. So I'm adding a little bit of this glassine bag that I have in my kit to go over the edges of where I put that black sticker, just to kind of tone down the black so it's not quite so bold, and I really like that a lot better. Then I'm putting a little bit under each side of my photo as well, just to kind of layer on top of that gray tag. It just kind of tones down the boldness of those elements. I really like them on the page in combination with the dark stamping, like the black stamping, but I wanted to just tone down a few of those things. I'm going to go ahead and adhere my photo down, and I'm going to adhere the tag behind the photo and then this Good Times ticket on top of the glassine bag, but still behind the photo, and then I have a little cheers sticker that I'm going to put on top of that. And then at the top I have that charming clip that I'm going to adhere right now with some glue dots. I found that glue dots are the best way to adhere these metal clips. And then I have a sticker on top that just says her, so it says like charming her. Going through a couple of the little elements that are in the kit, trying to decide if there's anything else that I want to include on this, and trying a couple things. I have that Chamel sticker sheet, which I really like, but it's cream based, so I have to be careful. Like, this layout has a ton of white. It doesn't really have any cream on it, so I can't just include the cream without it looking awkward, and it really stands out. So excuse me, I take it off, and then I just adhere these two little pink tabs under the edges of my little clusters. And it just adds a darker pink element. You can't even tell that it's a tab, but I like the color. And I have a ton of those tabs, which I've really enjoyed using. But I have a ton of those tabs, so I'm just kind of tucking them in here and there to add a little bit more emphasis in certain places. So I have these two gray alphas. I love the little circle ones. I got those from the Target dollar spot at one point, but I don't have any vowels left. I think I have maybe use or something, so I keep them just to see if there's anything I can use them for, but so far it hasn't really worked out. But I have these basic gray alphas and so I'm just going to write out the girls, because it's my mom and the girls. It's the four of us. And I'm going to put it on top of a label. So I have a label that's sitting here in this basic gray sticker pack. I wish that I had known about these sticker packs before. So I thought they were tags. I didn't realize that they were individually cut stickers. But once I realized that, oh my gosh, I use them all the time. They're so cute. And I'm just going to layer a little bit of this white one on top because I didn't want the wording that was on there. And I'm going to put my little caption on top of this. So I'm going to adhere. I have to glue these down because these basic gray alphas are not sticky. They're like tacky, but not sticky. I've used a lot of those. As you can see, that sticker sheet is definitely halfway used. And there's a lot of options on here. There's a lot of A's, a lot of E's. I think there's like 3 rows of E's. So, again, I wish I had bought more of these when Basic Gray was around. I have them in a couple other colors. I think I have them in a pale yellow, so I could color those and use them, like alter them into other colors, definitely. So just adhering this down, and I'm going to put it, I didn't know where I wanted it, but I'm going to tuck it in right over the photo. Now, looking at it, it's not my favorite part of the layout. I could have taken it off. I could have stopped before I did that, but you know what? It's there and I don't regret it. It just could have done it without it. So anyways, this is my layout for my weekend challenge. I hope you guys come and join the Facebook group so you can partake in the challenges in the future. So thank you so much, and I will chat with y'all later. Bye.